signed by Prince Simpiwe himself, which is astonishing that an announcement of such magnitude should be conveyed to Amakhosi in such an informal manner. His Majesty has always summoned me to wherever he is when His Majesty wishes to convey an important message or instruction, and I've always obeyed His Majesty's instructions. The appointment of the Prime Minister is the sole prerogative of His Majesty the King. I am a subject of His Majesty and I serve at the King's pleasure. From the 15th of December, His Majesty has been in isolation preparing for the first fruits ceremony, Umkhosi woselwa, which will take place on the 15th of January next year. I will wait until His Majesty the King informs me about his decision, because up until now, the King has not said anything to me. If the King has decided that I should step down from my position, all I can do is to express my gratitude to His Majesty for the honor to serve him and the Zulu nation. I have served the King from the first day that he assumed his position as King of the Zulu nation, and will continue to serve him. And I will serve His Majesty as an ordinary subject if it is his wish that he releases me from being Prime Minister. There is no quarrel that has ever transpired between His Majesty and myself. Not once in the past 11 months has His Majesty expressed his displeasure or voiced his disapproval of any action that I have taken or any statement that I have made in my capacity as Prime Minister. Not once. And therefore I reiterate that I am a loyal subject of the King, and the King's wish is my command. However, the re-emergence of Mr. Jacob Mnisi and Ms. Rejoice Tembe, popularly known as Ugogo, on the scene to control, in an attempt to control the Ingonyama Trust, is a cause for concern. I read in the media about the appointment of Mr. Stephen Rakwena of Van Rensburg, Kruger, Rakwena attorneys, who seems to have been appointed by His Majesty the King to regulate the affairs of Ingonyama Trust. His Majesty has not informed me about the appointment of these attorneys from Witbank, who suddenly claim to be governing the land of the Zulu people. Amakhosi, who administer the land under Ingonyama Trust, are also not aware of the role and mandate of these lawyers from Witbank. The presence of Mr. Jacob Mnisi and these lawyers from Mpumalanga province in the affairs of the Zulu kingdom does not augur well for the well-being and future of Ingonyama Trust. I thank His Majesty for affording me the opportunity to serve him and the Zulu nation, and may His Majesty's reign grow from strength to strength. Briefly in isiZulu, ukusho ukuthi njengondunankulu wesilo, isilo besingakasho lutho kimi mayelana nokuthi siyangikhulula kulesi sikhundla sokuba undunankulu kaZulu. Nami ngicoshe nje einkundleni zokuxhumana ngathunyelelwa umlayezo we-WhatsApp umntwana kwaminya, kodwa isilo sona qobo lwaso asikaze sisho lutho kimi. Njalo uma isilo sifisa ukudlulisa umlayezo siyangibiza lapho esikhona sikwazi ukudlulisa lowo mlayezo. Ngakho-ke isikhundla sobundunankulu isikhundla sesilo. Uma isilo sibona ukuthi siyangikhulula, uma ngempela kuyiso esibhalela incwadi engiyibona ey'nkundleni zokuxhumana, okwami ukubonga, ngibonge ithuba ekunikwe isilo sokuthi ngikhonze ngaphansi kwaso njengondunankulu waso, ngiphinde ngiyinikele kabusha ukuthi ngiyohlezi ngikhonza ngaphansi kwesilo indlulamithi yamakhosi noma ngingasekho kulesi sikhundla. Akaze kube khona ngxabano phakathi kwami nesilo. Akho ngisho ichashaza elilodwa kulezi inyanga eziyi-11 isilo sangimemezela esandlwana lapho esiveze khona ukungenami kwaso. Kuyo yonke imisebenzi yesizwe isilo asikaze singisole nako kodwa. Ingakho kube indida uma umuntu esebona lezi incwadi ey'nkundleni zokuxhumana isilo singaze sisho lutho kimi. Okukhathaza kakhulu ukuvela futhi kaMnumzane uJacob Mnisi owayekade lokhu elunguza emhlabeni kaZulu noMiss Rejoice Tembe owaziwa njengogogo ngoba beconsela ubuhlaba ongaphansi kweNgonyama Trust. Sizwile ukuthi sekhona nabameli baseMpumalanga Province okuthiwa uRakwena Attorneys abathi yibo abalawula iNgonyama Trust, namakhosi awazi lutho ngalokho. Ngakho kukho konke okwenzekile ngiyafisa ukuthi ngicizelele nabantu bonke baseNingizimu Afrika bazi ukuthi lesi sikhundla sesilo singafaka noma ubani ngesikhathi esifisa ngaso, sikhiphe noma ubani. Okwami ukuthi ngiyisikhonzi sesilo ngaso sonke isikhathi ngiyokwenza lokho okuzifiso zesilo. Ngisibonga kakhulu isilo ukuthi singinikelela ithuba, futhi sengathi ukubusa kwesilo kungakhula nesilo sikhule sibe ngangey'ntaba zaso undi nokhahlamba. Ngiyofisa ke ukuthi sikhombise inhlonipho efanele thina besilisa abakhona ngokuthi sisukume sikhuleke esilweni indlulamithi yamakhosi. Wena wendlovu, wena wendlovu, bayede. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Buthelezi. My name is Simpiwe Makanya. I work for SABC TV News. I have a few questions, but I'm just going to start with one and allow my colleagues to follow up if there are follow-ups. Given the fact that you say you've worked well with His Majesty for the past 11 months, are you at all not surprised that he has come to this decision to release you? That's question number one. Question number two, when Prince Simpiwe of Kwaminya communicated with you via a WhatsApp message, what was he saying in that particular message?
Well, you know, His Majesty has told me personally that he has been under a lot of pressure to part ways with me. You know, he has been under a lot of pressure for the past few months, you know. So if things come to a head now, it's not surprising because there's been a lot of pressure from very senior leaders in this province. Even when His Majesty was supposed to open the offices in Ulundi on the 6th of December, he was put under a lot of pressure not to attend that function. So I cannot speak on behalf of His Majesty, you know, but I will wait, as I have said, for His Majesty to confirm the authenticity of the letter which was sent to me by Prince Mpiwe via WhatsApp.
Under pressure from who exactly?
Well, I want to explain more than what I've said. I think my statement, sums up a lot of what I need to say. But safe to say that we must always remember that it is the King's prerogative to appoint a Prime Minister.
In your view, is this a political plot to remove?
No, I cannot comment on that.
You say there is no animosity between you and the King, given the decision that he has taken, of course. But the question that I had initially, and I still want you to perhaps give clarity on it, is, are you not surprised that he has come to this decision, given the working relationship that you've enjoyed with him?
I think my statement has been clear today to say the King himself has not said anything to me. And I think the purpose of this press briefing is to respond to the many media queries and the many concerns emanating from members of the royal family, all houses of the royal family who are concerned about this decision, AmaKhosi from all districts in the province, who were also shocked to see in the social media, But to every person, I have said that it is the King's prerogative to appoint a Prime Minister of his own choosing. But for now, I think what I've said is enough, and you can refer to the statement, and I will wait for His Majesty to formally communicate.
Two final questions from my side. Any regrets in your tenure as the traditional Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation over the past 11 months? And also looking now at the fact that there is this vacuum, or rather, let me pose this question in this fashion. What does your removal mean for the AmaZulu nation as a whole, in your opinion?
No, I'm just a mere subject of the King. I have made my contribution in the position, because when His Majesty announced me, he did not announce me via a letter, but he did so in front of the whole Zulu nation at Isandlwane on the 27th of January this year. So I think I've made my contribution, given my abilities and given my energy, and I've given my best to the throne. And going forward, one will continue to serve, because I'm a subject of the Zulu King, with or without the position. And I think for the past 11 months, I've given my best in terms of my loyalty and my honesty and integrity to His Majesty the King.
Final question for me. Sorry, Mr. Mzee. Your detractors have always been of the opinion that you are actually not fit for this particular position. They've welcomed your removal, of course. Any word for that?
No, I have no word for my detractors, because I was appointed by the King, and I serve at the pleasure of the King. And if he has reached this decision, I submit to the authority of the King, and I thank His Majesty for the opportunity to serve.
Question of the Ingonyama Trust Board, which seems to be a thorny one, even according to your statement, Reverend Buthelezi. The re-emergence of the person that you have named. What are you reading into what is happening in that file?
Well, the land under Ingonyama Trust belongs to the Zulu people, with His Majesty as the sole trustee, as the custodian of the land on behalf of the people, and it is administered by AmaKhosi. So when people from outside the province begin to poke their nose and want to regulate the affairs of the land of the people, like Mr. Mnisi, who a few years ago tried to do what he is doing now, I think it is my duty and obligation as Prime Minister of the King and the Zulu Nation to sound warning bells, especially to Amakhosi and to His Majesty himself, that the presence of Mr. Mnisi and lurking around Ingonyama Trust is not good for the well-being of our people.
There's a very particular photograph circulating again on social media of yourself, your deputy traditional Prime Minister, Isilo, and the former president. Are you at all at liberty to talk to us about what was that meeting about, or when was that meeting held?
No, but I can't divulge a meeting where the King was there, because that is the King's meeting. You know, I'm always in meetings just to accompany the King. I don't have any authority to divulge who the King meets and what is the substance of those discussions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makanya.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah.